Hey everybody, and I'm back, and I know it's been ages. Yes, I have been away. I thought this YouTube thing would be easy. It is not. I have been so distracted by things, university mainly, because university is now back in Australia, and that is just tiring, and traveling there all the time is tiring, and whoa. And internet is slow as hell, so when I actually do my videos, like, there's something in the back of my head that's like, it's gonna take ages to upload it, and it's gonna take ages to render the video because internet is so slow here. I think internet is just slow in Australia generally, and so that's always fun, so I always think about that, like, oh, it's gonna take so long. But I am going back into this strong. I need to get a schedule, god dang it. Like, I need to work this thing out. But anyways, I shall be reviewing Lord of Shadows. Doo-doo! I finished this book ages ago as well, like 2 weeks ago I think I finished it. I was planning to actually make a video for this, but alas, like I said, things got in the way, and now I am here with this, so you know, it's happening now. This book, second book of the Dark Artificers, obviously. First thoughts on it was I liked it better than the first one, purely because I think, well, this is why I think I like it better than the first one, because I get to see more of these characters again, and there's more character development and more things, and you know, I get to see more of the characters that I had fallen in love with in the first book, so I just happen to like this more. With characters, I like the development of the characters, like I said, they were very fun. I like reading more about them, and I know I said, well, actually, I'm not going to say this until later because this might spoil something. But anyways, the characters were good. The introduction of new characters was nice. Kit Haringdale is a new character in this. He's very pleasing. And he is kind of like, I suppose, what us humans would be like in that world. I mean, oh, come on. If like a shadow hunter was like, yo, do you want to be a shadow hunter? I'd be like, hell yeah, man. So yeah, so this book is the second one, and it is, well, basically about Julian and Emma. Among other things, obviously, but the main focus, well, the main thing, the main behind thing is the whole Parabatai thing. You know, you find out, well, there is a reason why Parabatai can't freaking marry. That there's a reason they're not allowed to fall in love. There's a huge curse on it. The whole point, Parabatai, when they write their runes, the rune is stronger than just a normal rune from a normal shadow hunter, you know? So of course, when, like, it makes sense, like when Parabatai would fall in love, it's gonna become intense, like the magic behind it will just enhance, because they're already enhanced themselves. Then they turn into monsters, and, you know, I think it's like, they become too powerful, too intense, that they just stop seeing things and they go mad, essentially, in the end, and eventually die and go crazy and stuff like that. And of course we do meet the Lord of Shadows, essentially. I'm not gonna say who it is, haha, but I mean, does it say in the blurb? It does. Never mind. The Unseelie King is the Lord of Shadows. Lady Midnight was Annabelle, obviously. So I wonder what the next book will be called. Maester Chicken. But getting away from that, I don't really know what to talk about this book without spoiling anything, but like I said, this was a nice sequel. It was a good sequel. Sometimes you get sequels and you're like, what is this? What is this mess? This is nice. It is a nice sequel. It worked well, it flowed well. Obviously, pace is slow, but a lot of things happen. It's not just like they follow one plot, one strand. They follow like a whole bunch, like they go to one thing and then a next and then a next, and then all of the in-between is just like character and plot development and stuff like that. Anyways, enough of that. Yes, I'll just go into the discussion more now. So if you know, don't want to read, just leave now, and if you want to stay, stay. Gonna start spoiling, you know how it is. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna talk about is I don't know. There's a lot of things that happen in this book. I'm going to address the big one that happened at the end though. Rest in peace, Livy. So I got spoiled about that. I saw a thing on Instagram. Someone had written a bunch of their favourite female characters, and they wrote down Livy, and then next to it they had a sad face with a broken heart. So that got me thinking, does she die? I thought mayhaps that had nothing to do with her death, and then I started thinking, oh, maybe Ty chooses Kit to be his Parabato and not him and not her, and that's why it's sad. So that's what I was thinking, but of course I was wrong. And yeah, she gets stabbed in the heart by evil Annabelle because, you know, that girl's crazy. And again, I also spoiled myself when I was reading it because I think this mainly happens with Cassandra Clare's books. I don't think it's happened to other books, but the writing and the font, I don't know if other people do this, but you know, sometimes when you read and you can see the next line down, or like see the other page and see what's written there, and there are always words that stick out to me, like death, dies, kill, kiss, a character's name, always sticks out to me. And since like my mind, like I'm not wandering my eyes, like I'm reading the sentence, but in my peripheral vision, I can't speak, like I can see the next line down. And so when it was supposed to be dramatic, it's like stabbed in the heart, I saw that before I was reading it. I'm like, well, she dies. Like it didn't catch me like off guard, so I felt like I was a bit depraved there. But then afterwards when I was thinking about it, I'm like, that's really sad. Oh, she died, you know? I was like, why'd she go for her though? Like, poor girl, Jesus. It's like I guess she's there, but why do you kill a kid? She's just insane. Annabelle's insane. She should be brought back from the dead. Come on, Malcolm, what are you doing? And Malcolm, he freaking came back. Like, I was like, okay, this is odd. Like, so he's the Lord of Shadows? Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, is it him? Is the Lord of Shadows? Like, he must be. But then no, he gets killed by Annabelle, which made sense. Like, I could not see them, like, having a happy ending. I was like, she's gonna kill him. Like, I feel like I've read it somewhere in a book that's like that thing, you know, they're brought back from the dead don't like it, and they kill the person who brought them back. But it was sad, like how he was just like, oh my love, as he's getting stabbed to death by her. He's deranged as well, but he's dead now. But it was a bad idea to begin with, as if she was probably at peace, and then she gets sucked out and brought back, and she's been living on the bottom of the ocean like a skeleton for years, just listening. Like, imagine that. You're like half awake. That would make you insane. Like, she's dead, she's a corpse, she can hear everything, but she can't speak, she can't move. She's just there internally just going, oh my god, shut up, Malcolm. I don't, like, can you stop ranting about the Blackthorns? Like, Jesus Christ. And then he finally brings her back and she's like, you're dead. But anyways, yeah, Livy, she died. I'm sad the shock was taken out of me, but my little eyes just pick up things, which is annoying, but it happens all the time. And yeah, so that was a nice little ending, and they freaking cut it off there. I was like, of course they're going to. Like, as much as I want to see more discussion between characters, I'm just gonna have to wait to the next book. Like, it's not gonna happen now. So yeah, that out of the way. Characters. I'm loving Kit's whole thing. He is such a good character. I like how he's kind of a voice for the humans coming in. Like, he's a bit of a poop at first, but he does ask the questions that we want to know, and he does like question things like, are you guys idiots? Like, I'm pretty sure this happened in history once before about the Zara thing, you know, want to get rid of all of the downworlders. Like, he hints at Hitler, like, guys, I'm pretty sure this happened in history. Like, don't you know that? Like, the idiots. And then the Aspergus things, he's like, well, he's Aspergus. Like, he just like says it straight up, and then Julian's just like, what the hell is that? you know, like they don't know any of these things, and it's just stupid that they don't know. Like, they don't know anxiety, they don't know the proper term, they don't know anything about that. They have no idea what that is. And connecting with that, what's her name? Diana. She's trans. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And again, she didn't know what trans was. So Katarina Loss finally tells her, like, you're trans. That's what it is. And she's like, and Diana is finally like, oh my god, there's a name for it. And there's probably other Shadowhunters like me out there who have to struggle. And I'm like, oh my god. Shadowhunters live in the freaking medieval ages. Bloody hell. Like, they're so behind, but they're so ahead. Like, they're in this weird area where they don't know about any of these things. They don't know the words for them. They just know it's wrong and it's not right. But they're so ahead because they're so advanced in like what they do, their knowledge and things of like, you know, the downworld and stuff, and advanced like weaponry and things like that, you know. They're higher level beings, they're very smart about things, but not about that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like, guys, why isn't this a thing you should learn about? Like, anxiety is a thing, depression is a thing, but to them they're like, you're different. Like, they don't have a word for it. They don't, like, if you were a shadow hunter and you had anxiety, you just think you're like a defect, and you'd think there is something wrong with me. I don't act like the other shadow hunters, and you have to hide that. Like, there's shadow hunters who have these things, depression and that, but they don't have a word for it. They just think there's something wrong with them. They think differently. They don't have a word for it, which I think is just stupid. Like, shadow hunters, you should know these things. Like, it'll help you because you can overcome these things and you can live with it. But like I said, a lot of shadow hunters probably live in bloody torture their whole life because they just got to deal. And some of them probably just leave. Like, you know, Diana, lucky for her, she like had a somewhat good family. Like, her parents were okay with it, but they were like, you can't live in the Shadowhunter world, mate. Like, it can't happen. So she just goes to her sister, and her sister dies. And now we find out why she runs away and stuff, because she has to take to stop her hormones. I don't know the proper word, I'm sorry. But yeah, so that was nice. I like the inclusion of that, because we are a world where we are accepting these things as we should. People of the world who freaking don't, you're messed up in the head. What are you living in, the bloody medieval ages? God damn. But it's nice having a character like that. And I suppose the shadow hunters represent the bad parts of our society who are against those sort of things. Like, they're so ignorant, the shadow hunters of that part of people's lives. They're so ignorant. And I suppose that might link to, like, you know, societies in our world who are just against it, and they know it's there, but they always turn a blind eye and never talk about it. So maybe it represents that. Maybe I'm reading into it too much. But anyways, I thought that was nice, and we finally got to learn more of her character, and so that was nice. She had good character development, and I love her and Gwyn as well. Like, oh, that's so cute. I was like, oh, this big burly man is just being all flustered about her, and he's the wild hunt leader, you know. So that was a nice little thing. As I said in my previous one, if you haven't watched that, doesn't matter. Lady Midnight had little dashes of characters. Lord of Shadows didn't. There was a lot more presence in characters. And speaking of which, Clary is going to die. Excuse me. When I read that, I was like, hopefully she's wrong and it's not gonna happen. And then when she was talking about she had visions, and I'm like, did she have that in the Mortal Instruments? It's been years since I've read those books, and I was like, I can't remember if that ever happened. Like, did she? But anyways, and when I read that, I was like, what? Like, I'm gonna be annoyed if she does die in these books. I'm gonna assume she's wrong just because she said it, and it's like, I don't think it's gonna go that way. Like, if she dies, I don't think she will. I think someone else will. but not Clary. Because the reason why, it'd be stupid if she does die. I don't get the idea of killing the main character in another series in a side series. I don't get that. It doesn't work well because she's not the main character. If you wanted her dead, no offense Cassandra Clare, you should have killed her in the Mortal Instruments. If she does die, I'm not saying she will, she might not, and she just got her dreams mixed up and it meant for someone else, or, you know, she just has a bad feeling about something. But if she does die, you should have killed her off in Mortal Instruments because no one died in the Mortal Instruments. And that annoys me. Like, I'm not sadistic and I want people to die. Only the villains die in those books, and minor characters, of course, like Emma's parents and things like that, but we don't know them. So yeah, if Clary dies in these goddamn series, I'm gonna be so annoyed because it's like, why are you killing off the main character in the main series in this book? It's like, you won't be able to read those books again because you're like, well, I know Clary dies later on in life. Like, all this happy stuff, it's like Clary's dead. She doesn't exist anymore. Like, when you read a book and you know the character is dead and you've reread it again, there's a weird feeling when you read it because it's like, well, I know what's going to happen to you. And another thing about having dreams and stuff is Magnus. All of the warlocks are getting sick. I was so scared for Magnus at the end. I was like, oh my god, if Magnus dies, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry my little heart out because he's my favourite character of all time. Like, he's just great. You just gotta love Magnus. And it's like, he can't die. But all of the warlocks are getting sick. Even Tessa, who isn't a warlock, she's like, what is it? Like hybrid warlock type thing? She's getting sick. Like, all of them are getting sick. There is something there. I am assuming it's Lord of Shadows. And someone else. There has to be another person. It can't just be him. It can't just be the Unseelie King doing this. It has to be someone else helping him. Maybe a greater demon, I'm assuming. Like, the fact that he's able to like stop Shadowhunter magic working in his lands is odd. So he's gonna have someone else with him because I just can't see it's just him. Because, it'd be more interesting if there's like someone else and it's like, oh god, now there's another person, you know. And yeah, and I said in my Lady Midnight one, just moving on from that, that I wanted Emma and Mark to be together, and the minute I was reading this, I was like, you know what, they don't work. I can ship them in my head, but they were both suffering, and it was like, oh my god, I can't do this. Like, Mark hates it, and like Emma doesn't like it, but I like the friendship that they got out of it. Like, that was sweet, that was nice. So I didn't mind that. So Mark is becoming he is my favourite character of this series. I did like him in Lady Midnight, but it wasn't enough to make me think he's my favourite character. This book comes out, no, he's my favourite. There were just so many scenes that I just loved, like little things that he does. I'm like, that's hilarious. But he's just amazing. Oh, he's good. All the other characters are good, but I always just pick a favourite and I'm like, you're amazing. So I can ship them in my head, but in the books, it made me not want them to be together. I was like, I don't like this. Like, they're both suffering, you know. And the whole Kieran and Christina, I like Christina. I do like Christina. I don't like her with Mark though. I don't know why. And I'm sorry if you love them together. I just don't. Like, I don't know. I just don't see it. In all honesty, I see her with Kieran. No, I'm joking. But I don't see it because Mark goes a bit funny when he's with Christina as well. Maybe that's it. And if you're not seeing that, I did. I'm sorry. But he just kind of acts a bit odd when he's with her. Not odd, but he's just all like, all over her face. And I know that could be a fairy thing, like what he was saying with about like Kieran in the first one or something, like how it's okay if you can take another lover. Fairies are cool with that. They don't care, you know. But I don't know, I just thought it was odd. And I like Kieran too. So it's like, I ship Kieran and Mark. Sometimes I ship Christina and Mark. But I don't know if I like them to be together. Like, I kind of like where they're at. I'm not sure. I don't know what I feel about that. The last thing I will talk about is where Drusilla went into. I'm gonna say it now. I think that weird fairy boy is the lost kid, and he's just been trapped in that cube. I don't know if he's trapped in the cube or it's a direct portal to another world, to fairy, and he's underground, I feel like. So I think he's with the Seelie Queen, and I think he is the long lost child of the Unseelie King, who they say died. But he looked like a kid. He looked like he was 13, but I think he's been put in like a suppressor thing, like he's always going to be 13. He's the first child. He's been kidnapped for years, and he's just in this weird magic world within fairy that keeps him young, and it's like a state of like time hasn't passed for him. That's what I think. I think he is the lost king, and it was odd that she got in there, Drusilla. I want to know why that happened. But yeah, that is it for now. This book was amazing. So many things happened. I could talk for ages, but then I just keep on rambling, and I don't really want to ramble, you know what I mean? So that is all I have for now. Hopefully I come back with more videos in the meantime. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. No, I'm joking. I need to get this thing going, because it's like, what am I doing with my life? I need something else. But yeah, that is it. This book was great. And I hope you all enjoyed, and yes, goodbye. Bleep.